All right. You have a preference on which one you want to start with?
We can start with 270, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Mr. Shooter on 270.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this is House Bill 270 by Representative Terry Landry. It provides for absentee voting by mail by qualified incarcerated voters.
Representative Landry on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members. Listen, I first want to say that this is just a clear-cut effort on my part to kind of clear up some conflicting laws that are currently in place. I believe, as sure as many of you do, that when we have laws in place, they must state exactly what they are. They must mean what they are, right? So currently, there are two statutes within the same chapter that I believe, when read together, are conflicting and make it impossible to carry out. And so I want to be able to clear it up because it says in Louisiana Revised Statute 18, Chapter 18, 1303G, it says that a person who has not been convicted of a felony retains their right to vote even if they are incarcerated, right? And so that is existing law. Our former colleagues made this decision, and so this bill does not touch that. We still want to allow individuals not convicted of a felony to be able to vote while incarcerated. But then if you look at Louisiana Revised Statute 18115, it requires first-time mail registrants to vote in person if it's their first time voting. So like I said, when you read those two things together, it is physically impossible for a person currently incarcerated to vote in person if it's their first time voting in that particular parish. And so I believe that we need to clear up those two conflicting laws by a simple exception. Currently, we make exceptions for veterans, individuals that are disabled, and students. And this would just allow individuals who are currently incarcerated, they may be awaiting trial. You have individuals who are incarcerated on the weekends for whatever reason, but it's not a felony conviction. They may not be convicted at all. They may just, like I said, be awaiting trial, and they want the opportunity to vote. So we're not expanding the voter population. We're not expanding rights. These rights currently exist. We just want to clarify those two conflicting laws so we don't have two laws in the same chapter that are contradicting each other.
All right. Representative Larvadain for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A lot of times people have been arrested and they're waiting for bond and they may need additional time for bond. They still can vote because they have not been convicted. Is that correct?
Yes, under the statute, they can currently vote.
So, because I've had that problem before, because people will get arrested, they have a trial, they have a hearing date in months down the road, and they have not been convicted. They're eligible to vote because there's no conviction. They've just been arrested, and there's no determination of whether innocent or guilt. And they haven't. Some of them haven't even had an arraignment yet.
Right.
Okay. And so this bill is just allowing those folks the opportunity to continue to vote.
Yes, their right is already in law that they have the right to vote. They are given that right by statute. Like I said, we're just clarifying that there's no conflict on having to vote in person because they are incarcerated, which they physically cannot do.
And all they're doing is that they're housed in a facility where they just can't go out and personally vote, but they still have the right to vote because they've not been convicted at the present time.
Yes, and that is currently going on as well. Like I said, it only applies to those individuals who this may be their first time voting in that particular parish. So the sheriff's office and those parish jails are already allowing individuals to vote by absentee ballot. We're just making sure that these other folks who kind of fall in that loophole also get that same right.
And this law is to clarify the ambiguity between two statutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep.
Thank you, Representative Larvadain and Representative Marcel.
She's going to do it.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing the bill, Representative Landry. I think you have a great bill, and anything that clears up our laws where there's some question of whether that person would get an opportunity to vote. And in this case, I don't think that they would if they're first-time voter. I think it's incumbent upon us because we want as much a higher turnout as possible. We want people to have that right to vote because it is a right that they have, and we don't want to take that from them. So I think you have a good bill at the proper time. I'd like to move it favorably.
Thank you, Rep. Marcel.
All right, we'll go to some of the cards. President wishing to, in support, wishing to speak, Mr. Bruce Riley would vote. And Ms. Chanda Shea Foster with Southern Poverty Law Center. Y'all want to both come on up?
I'll wave.
Okay, she waves. We also have, and they didn't print their name, but it looks like M. Garvey.
Meg Garvey.
What's that?
Meg Garvey.
They didn't print their name, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the email address, but if they can come on up as well. It's the letter M on their email address. All right, Mr. Riley?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Bruce Riley to vote. Representative Landry, I think, hit some really important points of the bill. I just wanted to add that, of the people who are being verified as first-time voters, there's nobody who is more verified than someone who's incarcerated. There's a sheriff who's verifying that this is the person. The sheriff is a law enforcement officer who's paid for by the public dollars, who has a responsibility to get people's names accurate. And students don't have that level of scrutiny. People with disabilities, people in the military don't have that level of scrutiny. And realistically, if you had the choice between casting your first vote and getting out of jail, you're probably going to take getting out of jail. So if you're not the person that you say you are, you're probably going to say it. And that level of integrity, I'm not saying it should apply across the board for everybody because it seems really cumbersome, but for the small amount of people, as Rep. Larvadain was pointing out, who are detained, awaiting trial, who haven't been convicted of anything yet, I think that is a manageable amount of people that are already happening for people who are doing their second vote, their third vote, their fifth vote, are already going through that process. That's already legal. It's already happening. But it's only this strange little prohibition for people doing their first vote. And so, like I said, they're very verified and they're very accurate of who the person is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Also present, not wishing to speak in support, Councilor Gaines, Terry Medina, with SPLC Action Fund, Marianne Mushat, Charles Amos, Mike Musk, Southern Poverty Law Center, Ronald Marshall with vote, Ilona Prito, Jared Evans, Power Coalition for Equity and Justice, Sarah Whittington, ACLU, and Cree Matlock with the Power Coalition. Present in opposition, Ms. Yancey. President would like to speak on this bill?
I'm going to wave.
Okay. Chico Yancey, present in support of the bill. Present in opposition, not wishing to speak, Mr. Kevin Cobb. Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a substitute motion to voluntarily defer this bill.
Okay. We have a substitute motion by Representative Thomas to defer the bill. All right. Representative Marcel objects to the bill. Madam Secretary, we're going to call the roll. A motion to defer. Hold on, you got a question, Representative Marcel?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get to you. Representative Marcel?
Yes, sir. I'm objecting, but can I ask the member what is the purpose of the objection? That's not something that we typically do in the middle of a bill that's being presented. You want to state your reason for your objection to this bill?
No.
You don't?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I'm just a little confused as to why we're going down this road of objecting to a member's bill before it's thoroughly vetted, number one, and without telling the public, because you were elected by the public, why you're objecting to this bill and asking that it be deferred. And I think we're going down a slippery slope. If we're going to do that, then we're going to do that on some other ones as well. And I don't think that's fair, that this bill should have a fair hearing and a vote without somebody just deferring this man's bill and not allowing people who are qualified voters to vote. We have exceptions for the military, we have exceptions for students, and this should be no different for a first-time voter. And somebody needs to tell me what we're doing here today.
All right, thank you, Representative Marcel. Representative Larverdeen?
Yeah, we also make provisions for those that are in nursing homes. This is important that we allow people to vote. We may disagree or agree, but just making an objection just to make an objection, that's not who we are. At least state your objection. Let's have some debate about it. But just objection, just objection. I'm against that, and I got a concern about that.
All right, thank you, Representative Larverdeen. All right, we have a motion to involuntarily defer by Representative Thomas on House Bill 270. Madam Secretary is going to call the roll. A vote of yes involuntarily defers. A vote of no. It's voluntary defer would depend on whether the author wants to do it. Involuntary defer is if the author is opposed to it.
May I speak on that? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Landry.
I understand that there was a red card put in by the Sheriff's Association, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but I did speak to him outside. He had to go to criminal justice, but he did agree that he would work with me if it got out. There was just some concern about burden, but I do believe this makes it less burdensome because now the sheriff has to go and check with individuals. Is this your first time voting? And then kick them out, right? Whether it's just now, hey, I know these are all individuals who have been verified that are under non-felony and are able to vote and just now the absentee ballot. So it actually makes it less burdensome for them. But he did say he would willingly work with me if the bill did get out of committee.
All right. Thank you, Representative Landry. Does that change your objection, your motion? All right. Representative Thomas has made a motion that we involuntarily. Representative Walters for a point of order.
Question, Chair, for clarity. There was a motion to report this favorable. Now there's another motion to...
There's a substitute motion to involuntarily defer.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so back on the motion. We have a substitute motion to involuntarily defer by Representative Thomas, to which Representative Marcel objects. A motion, a yes is to involuntarily defer. A no is to go back to the original motion. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair Boyer?
Yes.
Yes. Representative Billings? Yes. Representative Boyd? No. Representative Carter? No. Representative Farnham? Yes. Representative Gadberry? Yes. Representative Johnson? Representative Larverdeen? No. Vice Chair Lyons? No. Representative Marcel? No. Representative McMakin? Yes. Representative Newell? No. Representative Shammerhorn? Yes. Representative Thomas? Yes. Representative Walters? No. Representative Wright? Yes. Representative Weibel? Yes. There are 9 yeas and 7 nays.
House Bill 270 will be involuntarily deferred. House Bill 361 we'll take up next. Mr. Shooter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.